My brother, born in 1994, and I, born in 2005, both grew up with the PS2 and the PS3. I talked about the PS2 in many of our previous videos, and other YouTubers have too. Everyone knows the PlayStation 2 was influential, but the PlayStation 3, that was something else entirely. The PS3 wasn't just a console, it was a turning point in how games looked and felt, and a massive influence on how we design our own games. It was the first HD console, and some people call its aesthetic 7HD. It's hard to describe but easy to recognize. Uncanny vast environments, washed out colors, orange, saturated sunsets, perfectly modeled, porcelain-esque characters with untextured skin and glassy, doll-like eyes, bloom everywhere, glossy materials, super soft shading, slim, minimalistic fonts, black transparent gradients, clean UI design. It was sleek, sharp, and distant. Some people think this era was too modern to be interesting, that it lacked the broken weirdness of the PlayStation 1 with its affine texture mapping, warping geometry and janky 3D, but I disagree. The PS3 had its own weirdness, its own rules, its own atmosphere. Most of the core traits of the PS3 aesthetic can be easily seen in the launch titles, like the liminal space simulator that Sony called PlayStation Home, or the original Killzone 2 trailer, which the developers faked entirely. Warhook is another great example of overuse of bloom, the flat terrain textures, and the large empty outdoor spaces that help define the 7HD aesthetic. But my favorite example of this is 8 Days. This game makes me incredibly nostalgic for my childhood, despite the fact that I only discovered its existence a few months ago. It's the essential PS3 game. Realistic graphics, cinematic story, and a Naughty Dog-inspired action sequence. It perfectly encapsulates everything the PS3 and the Xbox 360 era represented. Let's break down the core traits of the PS3's aesthetic. Flat grass textures. One of the defining hallmarks of the 7th generation. Almost every game had them, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The grass was always one flat green texture, stretched across the terrain like paint on concrete. You can clearly see this in early PS3 titles like MGS4, PlayStation Home, FF13 or Africa. But the most surreal example of this is Deadly Premonition, where the grass has a shiny, reflective material on it. Then there is the other cornerstone of the PlayStation 3 visual style, the perfect character models. Take Devil May Cry 4. Nero doesn't look real, he looks idolized, hand-sculpted. He's not a scanned actor, his face is symmetrical to the point of looking machine-generated. His hair has no real physics, it's posed, frozen in place like a sculpted marble. He doesn't move like a real person, he moves like a PS3 action figure. The same goes for Akiyama in Yakuza 4. His face has individual beard hairs modeled, not textured, modeled. Every strand is visible, it's absurd, but it's also beautiful. There's a charm in this kind of over-rendered perfection. Modern games scan faces and actors, but back then developers had to imagine what realism looked like. And sometimes those guesses were more compelling than reality itself. Some PS3 character models are on par with today's standards. The best example of this is probably Final Fantasy XIII. This game features character models with just a little over 8,000 polygons, yet it still looks better than most AAA games today. And I'm not even talking about the pre-rendered cutscenes, because those have never been replicated since.
Hold on!
Okay.
Jump!
They were produced with such high quality and attention to detail, they still feel untouchable. No wonder major companies like Louis Vuitton and Calorie started advertising their products with video game characters during this generation. Even Apple made an appearance in MGS4. Otacon used a MacBook for hacking, and Snake could listen to his iPod whenever the player wanted. I can't make a video about the PlayStation 3 without talking about Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet was also ahead of its time. It was one of the first games to tap into what we now call live service models, user-generated content, real-time updates. My brother and I probably spent well over 100 hours playing Little Big Planet 1 and 2 when I was in elementary school. This was the first generation that really had games on par with today's live service games. But there was still split-screen co-op too. It wasn't fully online yet, and it was player-driven. There were hundreds of game modes players created. People even recreated the Street Fighter series in this 2.5D platformer. Back then, games were much more experimental. A lot of experimental titles actually got released, like Lair or the Little Big Planet series itself. But nowadays, developers are too afraid to take risks. The spirit of experimentation wasn't just limited to Little Big Planet. Back then, studios were still willing to take creative risks. Sony published weird, ambitious games like Lair, which let you ride dragons in open skies using the 6-axis motion controls. These were also used in the Killzone series. Sure, not all of those games were perfect, but they were trying. They were pushing boundaries. Nowadays, developers are often too afraid to take those same risks. Budgets are bigger, teams are larger, deadlines are tighter, and as a result, a lot of modern AAA games feel too safe. But the PS3 era wasn't safe. It was bold, unrefined, and sometimes a little bit broken, but always interesting. Bloom and shiny effects on everything. Wet shaders, gloss, reflective plastic floors. Everything was either dripping or glowing. Heavy color grading washed the screen in oranges, greens, or steely blues. Everything was loud, stylized, intentional. Games either looked dark and gloomy or dangerously sleek and sophisticated, like some fruity Guerrero dream world. There was no middle ground. And what's strange is how many PS3 games felt post-apocalyptic, even if they weren't. Look at Liberty City in GTA 4. It's not destroyed, but it feels like it's decaying. The people are angry. The rain never ends. The lightning is grey. Even the cars feel heavier, slower, less responsive. It's a city on the edge of collapse. GTA 5, in contrast, feels soft, polished, a little too colorful. But if you go back and play the original PS3 and Xbox 360 version of GTA 5, you can still feel the 7HD vibe, even if only for a few minutes, before the game layers on its brighter tone. But GTA 4 never lets up. It's pure, bleak urban decay. With HD hardware came new graphical tools, specular highlights, material systems, better shaders, and the developers used all of it at once. Normal maps, bump maps, shaders, reflection probes. The result was a world that looked damaged, uneven and worn out, even when it wasn't supposed to. Part of this came from the mood. The PS3 launched in 2006, just 2 years before the 2008 financial crisis. The cultural anxiety bled into the games. Everything felt uncertain, dark, and paranoid. Look at Kane & Lynch 2 or Max Payne 3. These games weren't made in the PS2 era for a reason. The tech wasn't there yet to show this level of dirt, urban decay, and violence. But on PS3, these games thrived. They were ugly, raw, uncomfortable, and unforgettable. And nothing captures this tone more than Demon's Souls. This is still, to this day, the bleakest From Software game ever made. Dark Souls has forests, Bloodborne has splashes of color, Elden Ring is beautiful, like a painting. But Demon's Souls, it's hollow, dead, and I love it. The fog is so thick, it feels like it's choking you. The color palette is rotting, greyish greens, burnt purples, smoky whites. The characters are quiet. They don't talk too much. They don't cry, they just exist. Even the sounds of Demon's Souls feel otherworldly. The roar of the dragons in this game sounds so strange. It reminds me of the sounds you can hear in a metro station, but you can clearly feel this vibe in the OS of the PS3 as well. After you boot up the console, you're greeted by Sony's first real implementation of the XrossMediaBar, a graphical user interface developed by Sony. The interface features icons that are spread horizontally across the screen. Navigation moves the icons themselves rather than using a cursor. These icons act as categories to organize the available options. When an icon is selected on the horizontal bar, several more appear vertically, above and below it. These are then selectable using the up and down directions on the D-pad. My brother and I absolutely love this Dark Aero aesthetic. It feels so raw and in your face. Dark Aero is cold, clean, minimal. It's black glass, thin white fonts, soft gradients, and slow-moving UI elements that feel like they are floating in a vacuum. It's the sound of quiet synthetic clicks and ambient system chimes that echo like you're inside a server room. Its design is meant to feel futuristic, but not bright or hopeful. Sterile, sleek, and a little bit dangerous. The PlayStation 3's XrossMediaBar is peak Dark Aero. It's not video games at all. There are no bright green buttons or glitchy overlays. It's just a black void with glowing icons suspended in silence. No music, no splash screen, just motion. It feels like booting into a classified terminal, like you are not supposed to be here. This menu feels as empty as the maps in many PS3 games, especially in Japanese titles like Dynasty Warriors and Ninja Gaiden. The environments often felt vast but hollow, beautiful but lacking detail. In contrast, Western games were much more cluttered, filled with objects and detail, but often more linear in level design. Horror was also mainstream during this generation, and perhaps the best example of Sony trying to capitalize on that trend is this advertisement. But even non-horror games had a creepy, unsettling look during the 7th generation. Most notably, the Riddick games and Splinter Cell Double Agent had this strange, shadow-drenched atmosphere that felt off in a compelling way. Doom 3 and Fear pushed it even further. The overuse of bump maps, normal maps, and stencil shadows gave everything a weird, oily texture, almost too detailed in the wrong places. It made rooms feel sticky, characters look like wax, and it all added to that uncanny PS3 vibe. But one of the most jarring things when you look back is this. Many PS3 games had better production value than modern games. Heavy Rain, Uncharted 3, these games had set pieces and cinematic pacing that are still, to this day, some of the best. Why? Because they weren't bloated, they weren't trying to do everything. They focused their budget and their time where it mattered. Most modern AAA games are bloated and mismanaged. Hundreds of hours of content, thousands of people on staff, and yet somehow they feel emptier. In contrast, PS3 games had a sharper focus, and that focus made them unforgettable. Then there is MGS4. Even the earliest trailers from the 2005 and 2006 were full of Warzone imagery. Desert ruins, bloodied Metal Gears, cybernetic soldiers. Snake looked ancient, broken. The music was melancholic, the visuals were washed in grey and yellow. It felt like Metal Gear had become something else, and an art film about the end of an era. That tone stuck with us. This wasn't a cyberpunk game that we played on PS2 and PS1. This was the first generation truly obsessed with realism. While the PS2 started this trend, those games were playful. The PS3 wasn't playful. These games felt like you were rolling through surveillance footage or rewatching the worst day of someone's life. You played as criminals, retired cops, yakuza, cowboys, soldiers with PTSD. Compare Red Dead Redemption 1 to Red Dead 2. The first game is raw, dry, angry. It's part spaghetti western, part violent crime story. The sequel is prettier. I still like it though, but the original feels more raw. Even Gran Turismo on PS3 felt elevated. It wasn't just a car game, it was sophisticated. The UI, the music, the replays. It felt like we were playing the intro to the best Final Fantasy game that never came out, Versus 13. Black suits, black skylines, chrome. That exact same vibe is burned into the PS3 console design itself. Glossy black plastic. It even uses Spider-Man font. This is what we grew up playing. This is what we are trying to bring back at Wushin Software.